what is the HTS code? So just simply put, it's just the code that's associated with your product, and particularly with US imports, and it matters around the world as well. But basically, it is how it classifies your product, and what rate of duties is it supposed to be charged, and also if there's any specific kind of details about that product. Okay. Now, this is more complicated than it might seem. So first, and I have this linked. Okay. So first, you have to go to this tool. And I'll just kind of use it. So we actually have examples of these codes. Okay. So let me just use this one. Women's trousers. You put in the code here. Okay. So this can be a little bit confusing because this is the heading or subheading. So these 8 digits are the most relevant for the duty rate. Whereas the last 2 digits, which by the way, if you don't have the last 2 digits, like it might just be 00 because it doesn't have these details, right? These are just more like details in the product itself, but you see like there's no different duty rates. Okay, these are just women's, girls, shorts, whatever. But these all fall under this heading and subheading for the duty rate itself. And now what do you see here? Okay, 28.6%. So this is what I meant by that fact sheet wasn't even complete. So this fact sheet doesn't even include that number, which is ridiculous. But it's all those tariffs plus this. But basically you have this 28.6%, okay, which is this 28.6%. All right. And then section 305. So section 305 gets a little bit more complicated, but you either know that your product is on it, or you use the second tool, which I have here. And you put in that same subheading. And this says that due to section 305, you add an additional 7.5% duties. So that is this number here. Okay. And then plus 10%, plus 10% again, plus 125%. So for women's woven trousers, 181.1%. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna like try to look for like the highest duty possible, but back to this point, right? It is very, very possible that you can actually end up with higher than 245% tariffs. If you have 125% plus 20%, plus it just happens that your product is on the section 301 for 100%, plus maybe some other general duties, it could actually be higher than that, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, that's not going to be consumer products, so you don't have to worry about that. That's going to be stuff like the EVs and stuff like that. I often get a question about what these columns mean. Just don't worry about these for yourself, because these are like special rates for like Australia and stuff like that. So this doesn't really matter for China. And then column 2 is essentially like higher general duty rates for specific restricted countries. So we're talking about Cuba, North Korea, Russia, and Belarus. Okay, so well, don't import to these 4 countries. But yeah, that's what column 2 is. And this is why like understanding this is so incredibly important. Okay.